Good afternoon, and welcome to My Collaborative Team's CollaborEAT Live. My Collaborative Team, a not-for-profit corporation. Our mission is to provide marketing and educational opportunities for our members in building more successful collaborative practices utilizing our digital and virtual marketing outlets. The main goal of My Collaborative Team is to be the leading publisher and producer of collaborative process content and to be a marketing partner for our members. We provide our members the confidence, assistance, and platforms they need to distinguish themselves as collaborative professionals. Our CollaborEAT Live episodes consist of a variety of topics driven by our followers and our members. Topics range from ethical considerations, best practices, problem solving, marketing, specialized topics, which you're going to hear today, and practice tools. Whether you join us live or watch in your own free time, you can count on our weekly CollaborEAT Live to provide you with thought-provoking conversation and educational information about the collaborative process. If you want to be a part of our CollaborEAT Live series, send your topic or idea to info@mycollaborativeteam.com. And now, let's talk about physicians. My Collaborative Team member Ken Klabunde is the founder of Precedent Financial Strategies, a financial planning and wealth management firm that specializes in serving physicians and their families during the divorce process and rebuilding after divorce. Ken works together with his clients to build a financial plan to fulfill their vision and to create clear, concise action plans, tax reduction strategies, investment and lifetime income solutions, and to optimize every aspect of their personal finances. Ken serves clients throughout the United States from his offices in Cincinnati and Indianapolis. If you're seeking expertise in personal finance, investment and income solutions, tax strategies, and divorce finances, I invite you to schedule a time to speak with Ken about your situation. Welcome, Ken.
Thank you, Ed. Thanks for having me on. Really appreciate what you guys are doing here.
Ken, let's talk about physicians getting divorced and the unique challenges that the families of physicians face during divorce.
Sure. So I guess let me first start by just kind of talking about a little bit of a misconception with physicians and divorce. I think there's a common perception that physicians face divorce at a higher rate than most. And I think this idea stems from the realities of long and unpredictable the financial stresses that are associated with having delayed careers. Many of them don't begin their career until their early 30s, and they usually have a backlog of student debt that goes along with that. And I think there's some wrong assumptions too about the prevalence of workplace affairs, that it's more common for physicians than other professionals. The reality is, according to the British Medical Journal, some research that was done a few years ago of about 400,000 U.S. physicians, is that only about 24% of physicians have ever been through a divorce. And given the nature of their professional work, these are families that know how to keep it together, and so I think that's encouraging for physicians. But when physicians do need to divorce, I think their families have the same needs as everyone else that we deal with as collaborative professionals. They want peace for their family, and this is why you and I and our colleagues are all so passionate about doing this work every day. It's to bring peace to families. But you asked what's unique. So, and there's a ton going on there. So the first thing that comes to my mind when I think about physicians and their unique financial aspects in divorce is their high level of income. And very simply, generally, a high level of income results in a more complex overall financial picture. It's that simple. It's not unique to physicians, it's unique to high income levels. As wealth increases, complexity increases, and financial complexity has a big impact on the divorce process. But beyond that, these high income sources themselves are also really complex. So depending on the physician's specialty and their business structure, their employers or business ownership arrangements, their income is oftentimes not highly predictable. And physicians face some significant structural risks in their income over the coming years. Talk to any physician about what their expectations are for income in the coming number of years, and they'll share concerns with you about that. And those concerns need to be acknowledged and addressed in the divorce process. But even when their income is stable, the way that physician compensation is calculated and paid, it's through a combination of salaries, draws, bonuses, multiple types of what we call RVUs, relative work units. And often all of these different types of income sources are spread across multiple employers for even a single physician. And so this can make for some really significant challenges when trying to reach agreements and find solutions that work for the entire family in a divorce. And the reason why is because if these complexities aren't addressed and clarified for everyone involved in the divorce process, it can lead to a lack of misunderstanding. And as you know, a lack of misunderstanding can lead to further increases in the levels of mistrust among the parties. Everyone simply needs a thorough understanding of the financial reality in order to be able to find options that can lead to the formation of what I like to call, two separate and financially stable households. And these complexities make that a little bit more challenging.
Ken, do you find it a little difficult sometimes to do equitable distribution in physician cases where very often, while they are high income, they may not have had a good financial planning, may not have the type of assets you would expect from someone of high income, as well as the problem that tends to happen, which is when they're high income, they live high income, and now they're splitting two houses into high income houses.
Absolutely. So here's another way in which physicians are not necessarily unique, and that's that just like any profession and just like any high income profession, some physicians are stellar personal financial managers and others are not. And that's just human nature. And that leads to exactly what you just described. Early in a physician's career, they may have a high lifestyle. For example, I just learned about these. You're probably familiar with physician mortgages. These are special underwriting criteria that allows a resident to purchase far more home than they could otherwise afford, predicated on the future income revenues. It's a bad idea, but that's beside the point. But you've identified that they often do live at high lifestyle levels, and that's often created early on in their careers. And so yes, you're now taking that income and dividing it in some way, and it can be real challenging to do what I just described. This idea of two financially stable households can be more challenging when both of the new households kind of have to go through a little bit of a reset in terms of expectations on lifestyle, if the lifestyle's been too high.
Yeah, I think that's a critical point. I think the age of the doctor at the time of divorce is very critical. The younger the doctor, the more difficult it is, because whether they get a mortgage like you describe, or they just advance themselves. They sit there and say, oh, I don't need to worry about now because I'll be able to make it up in the future. So I find that to be a huge challenge.
Yeah, fewer assets, more the student loans are still lingering. Those can be a real challenge in the divorce process. As they get older and wealth increases, it gets easier, it gets more complex, but the solutions are easier to find.
Yeah, I find that the one thing that even bad financial doctors, in terms of their planning, at least build decent retirement plans. So that's always helpful.
Yeah.
Ken, physicians don't always work traditional hours. How does the collaborative process benefit physicians with children?
So, we like to talk about the collaborative process being the client's process. This is their process, and they're in control, and the team is there to support them and guide them through the process. So that control for the client and for the physician and their family means that the pace of the process, the time and location of meetings, these types of things can be determined by the family to fit their schedules and to fit their family and work needs. So that's the first way I see it helping families with children, given these unusual work hours. But the collaborative process also opens the door for infinite creativity in the solutions that the family can create for co-parenting, for scheduling time with the children. So when a physician has non-traditional and unpredictable work hours, these can be reflected in the agreements that are reached. And it's so much more difficult to accomplish these types of creative solutions in a more adversarial process, and it's certainly more difficult in the court system.
You've touched on a little bit, Ken, but again, why is the collaborative process better than litigation? Why do physicians need to stay out of court?
Sure. So, I just mentioned the benefit of staying out of court as it relates to children, but let's talk about the financial aspect of it. So, specific to the finances of physician families, we talked earlier about the wealth complexity and the income complexity of physician finances. The physician themselves might fully understand all these things. They understand their compensation structure. Oftentimes, the physician is also the family's household financial manager. They know what's going on, but they need a financial specialist inside the collaborative process to convey that to the entire divorce team. The court system just isn't designed to build trust and understanding and to alleviate fears, and then allow the family to focus on their higher goals and interests. The collaborative process does that. And remember, we want to help these families find peace. We want both parents to be able to smile and dance at their kids' weddings. And removing financial misunderstanding and mistrust from the divorce process goes a long way toward accomplishing that goal.
Great. Ken, any last thoughts?
No, I think we've covered in a very short period of time some of the unique aspects of physicians. And as always, it's so good to talk with you, Ed.
Great. Ken, I want to thank you very much for being our guest on CollaborEAT Live. If our viewers have any questions, feel free. Ken's email is being posted, or contact us at mycollaborativeteam.com. We'll be happy to put you in touch with Ken. And once again, I invite all our viewers, if you have a topic you'd like to discuss and be a guest on CollaborEAT Live, it's really simple. Any members or guests are welcome to provide us with a topic that ties to the collaborative process, and we will be happy to schedule you on our CollaborEAT Live. Email info@mycollaborativeteam.com or reach out to us on social media. It's as easy as that. So we thank you for being with us today. We invite you to join us next Wednesday at 1 o'clock for our next CollaborEAT Live. Once again, thanks, Ken.
Thank you, Ed.